Hi, folks. Good morning. Today I'll be talking about quantitative trading and how this skill would help every individuals to generate passive income. But of course, it's a skill which needs to be learned, uh, but it is something which will uh, carry on for a long, long time, and I'll come to that why. But most importantly, it is the point I'm trying to make is uh, skills are very important in order for us to be in a competitive world. But at the same time, there are certain type of skills which we need to keep us going way beyond retirement. And this is one of the skills with the help of the software, one can generate passive income for the rest of his life. So having said that, I will touch base on why is it so important in order to have a skill like this. I cannot talk about different professions, but I can talk about my own profession, which is in IT, and my experience, what I see and hear, and what I went through is more or less in the direction of skills. Every industry, IT is a changing technology. Everything is changing, and the expectation is that every individual also who works for that company enhances the skill. But does that mean that skill is going to last forever? Maybe not. But what happens is usually we tend to spend a lot of money in order to get that skill. And once we have that skill, we basically go and look for consulting opportunities or full-time opportunities. I'm talking about only in the IT world. But this could be also the same for people who are doctors, who might need to keep upgrading their skills from time to time with the new technology coming in, new medicines coming in, and so on and so forth. This could be also applicable to lawyers who needs to know what are the new amendments happening or new laws which are coming in place. So uh, I don't want to sound too stupid in talking about any other profession, but especially uh, when I focus in the areas of IT, I can tell you that what happened 20 years back or the technology we had even 10 years back is completely different from the technology which we are using today. Going forward, again, 10 years down the road, again, it might be the same thing that it will be completely a new technology or new set of thinking process which people might have. So, but if you look back into the world of stock market, whether it is today in the midst of coronavirus or 50 years back, 20 years back, or even if you take 10 years ahead or 20 years ahead, it is the same old thing. The stocks go up and down, and that's what it is. Uh, you have to have the skills to grab it at the right time, whether it is in a bull condition or in a bear condition, to make money. So, this skill, which we will be talking about, quantitative trading, is more to do with fine tuning the areas of what I just mentioned. That it's a skill where you can make money even on a bull conditions or on a bear conditions with configurations which we will be talking about in next few videos. So having said that, I think from an IT standpoint, if I look into a skill which I need to upgrade for my for me being competitive in the job market. I don't know about other professions, but I'm only focusing on IT. I might be landing up spending $4,000 or $5,000 in order to get a training for 15 days, 20 days, and learn a new skill. And this is very common. People keep learning new skills at a certain age. It gets very difficult to absorb, right? With time, it gets very, very difficult to absorbing. So having a skill which will take you way beyond your retirement is the goal of this quantitative trading technique. Because as I say, stock markets don't change. It is going to go the same way, which was 25 years back, going forward again 25 years, the same stock will go up and down, and so on and so forth. So the idea is to see how we can leverage from that and uh, make use of that situation. So having this type of skill is going to not only benefit you for now, but it's also going to benefit you for years ahead. You don't have to keep brushing. All you have to do is in quantitative trading, understand what you need, understand what's your goal, and then configure the algorithm or the mathematical model which works for your goals. It's as simple. Once you accomplish that, you run it forever. You don't have to touch it. It runs every day for you. But of course, it is expected that the initial few days, people who are new to quantitative trading, and anyway, quantitative trading is a very new technique over traditional investments. So once you understand these mathematical models, how you would like to plot it in order to get what you want, and it's stable, you let it run forever unless you have some other plans. So, and this is going to go even if you keep that for next 10 years without touching, it will do the same thing for you anyway. So, having said that, this is the importance of having a skill which is not going to be limited to uh, the need for your farm. You might be in an IT world or in any other world. It is way beyond that. It is a skill which is for your own financial needs, for your own goals, and I think it is going to be very interesting for people who wants to take this as a start. Of course, there will be almost like a lot of features which we will have to talk about, but I will try and explain each of these features, but they are all interconnected. You have to keep in mind that these features which we will talk is all are interconnected. So it will be basically referring to different configurations with the permutation combinations of 15 features. So you can imagine how many different types of permutations you can have to optimize your goals for return and minimize your risk. So these are the two objectives, right? So with the combination of all these, you can run different types of strategies, and I will come to that as we talk more it. But the goal here is to understand these 15 features, how they are interconnected to each other, and how you marry these features with one another to get to the objective where you want to be. So having said that, viewers who have an understanding uh, basically of stock market, it will be little easier, but people who do not have a very good understanding of how the market behaves, what it is, and all those stuff, my effort here is to explain the best practices with tips and tricks in order to help you to think on those directions. But that doesn't mean that this tip and trick is what you would be sticking to. You can come up with your own conventions, but at least it'll give you a jump start for people who are relatively new. So, as I said, any skills you take, it will take you a month or a month and a half to learn. The same is here too. Uh, of course, you might be um, learning and acquiring this skill on a simulated platform, but it might take you 3 months or 2 months, depending on your level of knowledge you had in what we are going to talk about. It's very easy if you can understand. It is very easy, but at the same time, I will always keep my doors open for anyone who is following this to ask me questions. I might miss out something. I'm not saying that I will try and plot everything for you, but yes, there is could be a possibility that I'm missing out something. And if I do, please shoot me an email and I will try and answer your questions. So, having said that, we will talk about the best practices. We will talk about the tips and tricks as to how you test the water and take it from there. So, but again, as said, that the goal here is to build your own configuration which suits your need. So the point I'm trying to make here is if 10 different people have 10 different plot of land and you ask every individual to go and build their own house, I am assuming everybody would build their house in the way they feel it is comfortable. They might be doing an architecture on their house based on their family size or based on their priorities and all those stuff. So it does not necessarily mean that all the houses, 10 houses you make on a custom built architecture would be the same. The same holds here. In mathematical models, especially when you're building up your algorithm, which suits your need, it could be different from mine, it could be different from every individual. So it all depends on at what point you tell yourself that, yes, you know what, I am happy. The limit of happiness go a long way. But the question is, at what point you tell yourself that you're happy with the configurations, you're pretty okay with that, and your returns and risks are pretty much managed, and you continue on that direction. So, but of course, it doesn't mean that you will be jumping into it without learning. So, the most important thing in quantitative trading, along with the software which you will get with Interactive Broker, you'll be able to run simulation. Simulation is nothing different from a real money trading. Everything is real. The data, commission, whatever you calculate, interest, whatever, it's all real. It's just that the money is paper. So the recommendation here is you try out on simulation. As I said, if you already know the subject, maybe you can master it within a month. If you don't know the subject, you can probably take 2 months or 3 months to get a grip on what you want. And of course, my recommendations, my advice will always be there with you. Uh, because I've worked in this for last 15 years with research, so I can always tell you certain things which is a big no. Certain things could be something which you can try. So there will be shortcuts. Of course, it will help you save time in order to get your configurations right. Discuss it out with me too, because maybe I could help you. But the point is, till you are happy, till you're satisfied with your configuration, you know what is the type of a return you are getting, you know what type of a risk you are taking, and we'll talk about all of those. Uh, the point is, continue on simulation till you feel that you are comfortable, and then you flip over to a real money execution. So, of course, on a prerequisite side, uh, yes, it's good to have the knowledge of stock market. But again, in quantitative trading, everything is mathematical. So if you have no experience on building a mathematical model which would ultimately get applied into real trading, it is good to know all the tips and tricks which we will be talking about from for the next 15 features, which is a long way to go. So, but the goal is keep listening, make a note of what I'm saying, and then when you start going forward, you will be able to relate to what I have said, or you can even come back to that particular video and re-look into it and re-listen into it. There, as I said, there could be points which I might miss out. Feel free to shoot me a question. But having a prerequisite is good, but it doesn't take you too forward to somebody who says that, okay, well, you know what, I know traditional trading. Yes, on a prerequisite of 0 to 9, maybe he's already at 3 because he knows traditional techniques. But when it comes to quantitative trading techniques, you have to go all the way up to 7 or 8. A person who is brand new but open to a different open with a mindset to learn something new, which is going to be a skill, which is going to be a skill required and helpful for the rest of your retirement life. Feel free to keep your minds open in that respect because there's a lot to learn, but you will not be too far away from a person who is traditionally thinking. Because here in quantitative trading, traditional techniques are not used at all. And I will come to that little later, but as you go through all the YouTubes with all the features which I'm talking about, you'll understand that it is not traditional. So it is sometimes in my past year, few years of experience talking to a lot of advisors, I find it extremely difficult to explain what is quantitative trading. Very few people understands. Why? Because we are in 2020. 2025, a lot of people will understand what is quant trading. Like if you take back your thinking process when it comes to car industry, 30 years back, nobody could think about what is a driverless car. But today in 2020, of course, we don't have it yet on the streets, but we know that there are a couple of driverless cars available today. I don't know what is going to come next 30 years down the road, but things are changing. The same is happening in the investment world, especially with uh, trading techniques. People, there are a lot of institutions who are spending millions of dollars on research with quantitative trading, artificial intelligence, uh, high frequency trading, and so on and so forth. So people are getting towards automation. But the goal for my research was not to get into high frequency trading, but to get into quantitative trading techniques with mathematical models so that it remains consistent and it continues forever. There are some live accounts which I'm running for 3 years to 4 years now without even touching it. Because once you decide on a strategy, you just configure it, make it correct, and then you let it run forever. Unless you want to make changes on your strategy, there is no need for you to change your configuration because you're happy. It is the way you expect it to run. It'll run every day and it'll give you the results. So that's why from a simulation spend more time on that. Of course, from my end, I can give you free for a month for now. I cannot promise that this will go on forever, but all of a sudden, if I get a request for 2000 machines with 2000 different accounts, because every account gets a virtual machine, everybody gets a virtual machine. So there is an upfront cost from Amazon which I have to bear. So I'm not promising that I could give everybody a free 1 month, but for now, yes. Going forward, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that even if you go for any training, you would be landing up spending $4,000 or $5,000 for a skill. I'm talking about again in the IT area. I don't know about other professions, but here also you might be, of course, 1 month is free from my end, but you could probably need to master this skill and stabilize your configurations for, say, 2, 3 months or even 6 months. Maybe you will end up paying some subscription, which is probably $2,000 or even less. But the question is, you compare and ask yourself that if I have to learn a skill on quantitative trading, which is going to take me way beyond retirement, and I can be my own boss when I'm having a passive income scenarios, is $2,000 lot to learn. Because if I consider myself with the IT skill, a job if I have to, I may have to go and upgrade myself with a skill spending $5,000, but to get to a particular client. But does that give me a guarantee that I'll be with that client, or that client would need my skills forever? There is no guarantee. Maybe after a year, the client may say that, hey, you know what, I need to bring in some new technologies and therefore new set of people. But this is your own. This skill which you are learning is your own. You will be your own boss if you understand the skills of quantitative trading. There is no retirement for it. There is nobody to tell you what you need to do. You configure, you test it out, you run on your own. Of course, my help will always be there, but the point I'm trying to make is here also it's you might be spending little money to run on simulations for say next 4 months, but uh, that's nothing compared to the skill you'll be acquiring and continuing to make money out of passive income for years to come, where you have no boss, where nobody is going to tell you that there's going to be a change in technology. So I think it's a huge plus. So let's focus on that. And of course, we will continue talking about all these features going forward. But in the meantime, if I miss out on anything, please, please, please shoot an email to me. My email address is given over there. Ask any questions and I will try and answer those questions for you. So we will get to each of the features within a minute.